Hey y'all, I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have kind of a different Bible journaling process for you. I'm not actually going to work in my Bible, but I'm going to work in this traveler's notebook, and I'm going to set it up to take sermon notes. Normally, I take sermon notes. This is my traveler's notebook that I take to church with me, and in here are journals with prayer notes, gratitude lists, and then I have this last journal that is full of sermon notes. And as you can see, there's not really any specific format that I use. It's just a place that I kind of gather all my sermon notes so I can really stay focused during the sermon, because I'm someone whose mind can tend to wander. Helps me stay focused while I'm listening to the sermon the first time, and then when I want to go back and reflect on some of the lessons, I have them all right there. But that traveler's notebook is almost done, so it's time to start a new one. And it came at the perfect time because Lori at By the Well for God just released a new line, and this line is called His Story, and it's not a full kit. It does come with one mini devotional right here, written by one of our creative team members, Missy Brown, and it's a fabulous devotional. And then there's a whole line of products along with this vintage theme that can be used in journaling, in memory keeping, in sermon notes, in a whole variety of ways. And so I'm going to use a few of the pieces from this line. They have traveler's notebooks, this gorgeous, humongous stamp set right here that is so versatile. I'm going to use some of these library cards that are printed on this paper pad that can be used for layering, ephemera pieces. These are some vintage stickers, vellum pieces that I had already, as well as some washi tape that I'd like to use that coordinates really well with the kit. And I'm going to just set up this notebook to take some sermon notes, and I will put you on fast forward. There is a huge variety of ways that you can use all these materials. I highly encourage you to check out all of the creative team members for By the Well for God. I will link their Instagrams down below, and many of them also have YouTube channels that you can follow. These are ridiculously creative ladies that really let their faith shine through, and they will show you a lot of variety in how they work, how they approach kits, how they approach supplies. So make sure you head over to Instagram and check them out. Meanwhile, I'll put you on fast forward and we will get going. As I shift things around on my desk here, I'm gonna get started with the title page, and I'm gonna use this monster typewriter. I'm showing you it is a huge stamp, so I have to grab my biggest stamp block. This one's from We Are Memory Keepers, and I picked it up at Tuesday morning when I knew I just needed an extra big one. And because it's so big, I'm taking the ink straight to the stamp. You can see it's a little messy, but because of the vintage look, I just don't really mind the messiness. Because it's the first time I'm using the stamp, I test it on a spare piece of paper, and then I'm going to ink it up again and put it right smack dab in the middle of my page. And you can see this is real life crafting. I hit my finger on that ink pad, got black ink all over the place, but luckily not on my page. The stamp came out pretty well. I was pretty pleased, and I just had to go wash my hands afterwards. You know, messiness happens when you're crafting sometimes, and I just don't mind. So I'm pulling out this little ink container, this little ink droplet part. I'm going to put it at the bottom, and then I'm going to pull out the die cut pieces, and I haven't really looked at them a whole lot. I want to add just a few to this title page. This is just a simple notebook. I'm not going to go over the top. It doesn't need to every page be overdone. It's a place for me to keep notes, and I think it is fun to use beautiful places to keep notes. Why not use something that inspires you? So I picked up this Daniel Smith watercolor page at a store called Blick when I was visiting Georgia, and it has 66 different colors on it. Daniel Smith watercolors are beautiful, and they're excellent, and they're really high quality. They're also really pricey when you buy the full watercolor tubes, so I like having the opportunity to try several of the different colors before I make a commitment to buying the whole tube. And right here, I'm just using the plastic packaging technique. I'm spreading some of the watercolor on some plastic packaging and then using that to move it around my page. It kind of creates a very cool vintage effect. I like layering the colors on top of each other. I am not drying in between this technique because I like seeing them blend. So I did the first two colors all the same, and now I'm going to come back with a third color and do a few different things, some splatters around the page, and then filling in the ink bottle that's in the bottom left-hand corner, adding some shading to that before I pick up some more stamps and continue stamping. Like I said before, this book is meant to be simple. I'm not going to go over the top on every page and cover every square inch because it's just meant to give me a little inspiration as I open it up and take notes during church. I'm picking up, this is the typewriter set from By the Will for God. I believe this is the uppercase set, and I am writing Fall 2019 and using this VersaFine Onyx black ink. And again, you can see I almost get my hand in it again. I don't know what my deal is, but I'm cleaning off my stamps. This is a new habit I'm starting. Does anyone else have that Lawn Fawn stamp chamois? It is great at cleaning. I'm normally a person that's awful at cleaning my stamps. I just leave them dirty and just assume I'm going to use black ink the next time, but I don't always. I've been trying to switch up my inks also. So I've taken to using this Lawn Fawn stamped chamois, and it is working so well. I am loving it. So I add in Fall 2019. I love this alpha stamp from By the Will for God. Goes perfectly with the typewriter theme on this page. And then I'm going to pull out another set from By the Will for God, and those are the chalkboard alphas. And I feel like I'm forgetting when these came out. They came out, I don't know, sometime in the spring. I love them. I'm using them all the time, especially with back to school time. They are working perfectly. I'm going to add in my title of sermon notes, and you can see here, again, this is whole videos like real life crafting. I can't find the E. I've lost the E. There it was. I found it in the packaging, but I was super scared that I'd actually lost one of those letters. And of course, E is one of the most important letters. It kind of reminded me there was a time when one of the members of our creative team, Gail, had lost, it might have been an E or an S. She'd lost a small E or an S stamp, and we were all praying to help her find it. And she did come across it. Sometimes our craft rooms turn into voids. We all know that. So she did come across it, and I was afraid I'd lost my ink. But there it was in the packaging. So adding the title sermon notes, and then I'm going to add a few die cut pieces to kind of round out this page, and I will call it done. So again, I'm going to clean these, put those to the side, and grab those ephemera pieces that I had picked out. I'm going to put them in different places than where I had originally thought that they would go, but that happens as a page starts to come together. Normally from By the Will for God, I like to trim off some of the extra white outline that's on these pieces, but because the pieces are so vintagey looking, I think the white outline helps them stand out against the rest of the page. So for these, I'm going to leave them. I put them on here. I like having pieces hang off the page a little bit. I think it helps your eye move across the page and up and down. So I just trim off the edges, and my title page will be done, and I will turn to looking at the middle. So again, I'm going to start with just a little bit of color in the background. And this time I'm still using that same Daniel Smith watercolor sheet. I'm going to go with some purple. Purple is my favorite color. And I'm just going to put it in that V formation across the page. I didn't want it to be too vibrant, and as it dried and soaked in a little bit, I liked it even more. And I'm coming back, this is an iridescent color, and I'll try to list all these colors. I honestly don't know the names of all the colors I use because I was working off of this sheet for fun, but this one's kind of a gold iridescent color. I make sure it's really dry because I'm going to stamp over the top of it. So in my stash, I had these large vellum stickers that I actually picked up when my husband and I went to Italy. We visited a scrapbooking store in Italy, and I found these beautiful, they're like washi stickers. They are gorgeous, and they have this vintage look, and they go perfectly with this his story set that came from By the Well for God. So I'm going to use one of those stickers here in the corner, and then one of the library cards. I think the library cards, it's hard. I love all of the pieces of the set, but the library cards I think are going to be the most versatile. You can layer with them. You can use them to mark things in your Bible. You can use them as actual library cards. Can you imagine just notating the verses that you've been journaling in your Bible and kind of keeping those cards at the front? I think that would be so much fun. So I add, again, this washi tape. This is another one that I picked up when I was in Italy. There was just a whole vintagey section, and that is my jam. Now, I know I said I love the library cards, but I also love, 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 love these journaling stamps that came as part of this super large set. You can see it's a brand new stamp. I haven't used it, so I'm rubbing it on my arm to kind of knock off some of the oils and stuff that came as part of like the factory. Like when you get it, it stamps better if you kind of dirty it up on your arm first. So starting right here, I'm going to, this is where I'm going to keep notes. So I'm going to stamp these different stamps at different points across these two pages, and it will be where I can have like key takeaways or things that jump out, big ideas that I want to highlight as I'm taking notes during the sermon. And you can hear I get a little bit messy. I went too much. I should have taken the ink to the stamp instead of the stamp to the ink, so it got messy up there, but I have a solution. I grab some washi tape and a die cut, and I will fix that there in just a second. So see, I learned my lesson. Okay, go back to putting the ink to the stamp so you don't press too hard, and I have a nice stamp here on the bottom. See, I learned my lesson. We all make these little mistakes, and it happens. Adding this washi tape there covers that up, and then I'm going to add a piece of ephemera that I can put on there and then kind of let hang off, and it covers it up perfectly and adds another little place of interest on the page, and I don't have to see that big ink splotch that I left up there in the right hand corner. Again, trimming off the edges. I like having the ephemera pieces hang off of the page. It just is a nice look for your eye. Last thing I'm going to do is add some subtitles. Down here on the bottom, I'm going to label it takeaways, kind of the big conclusion that I pull out of each sermon using these small little alpha wooden stamps that I picked up at Michael's. I think they were like $2, and I use them all of the time. I love them. It's a little slow doing it one by one, but that's okay. And then I'm going to use the same alphas up in the top left, and that I'm going to label key verses. And over there, I can either write out the verse that we're focusing on that day or kind of list them if it's several. I am super excited. This notebook inspires me. It makes me happy when I open it, and I'm excited to take it with me on Sunday. I think it's fun to decorate. I'm not someone that's going to do it in church, but I like having a nice place to take notes and to reflect back. Let me know in the comments below, are you a note taker in church, and how do you like to do that? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button and also that bell notification button. I hope you have a great day, and as always, keep it creative.